Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Hall. It is 1:50 coming to you live. Let's go right to the live triple Doppler radar where a tornado warning is in effect. It's the polygon in red. So we're going to zoom in a little closer for you. This is for near the greater Ithaca area. It is for this storm right here. Okay, this was spinning a little bit. Let me show you some velocities here. It's mostly damaging wind, but there is some push out of the wind in through here. So wherever this Enfield area is, this extremely strong wind area, there's been a little bit of rotation coming around the backside of this. You're going to want to get inside right now from around, even though Ithaca technically is not in the warning, this is for all those areas. You know how the Ithaca area has beautiful state parks, Trumansburg State Park, you got Taganic Park. We also have many gorges in through here. You're going to want to get inside right now because we have a tornado warning in effect. And even if there is no tornado on the ground, this is producing damage right now. It just went through roughly Trumansburg and Ulysses, is now heading its way. The worst part of the storm, just southwest of the Ithaca area. The Truman State Park, it's going to go right over your area and eventually towards Newfield. If it holds together, places like Danby, White Church, and West Danby also potentially getting into this as well. I just want to also describe to you, there's been a number of thunderstorms that have had warnings with it. So I don't want to forget you guys as well. And I'll bring this back to the regular radar so you can see the whole thing and also show you the whole area as well. There are a number of thunderstorms that have warnings. This one is near Spafford heading towards Tully, not a tornado, but it does have large hail and damaging wind heading towards that Route 80 corridor. There are also other warnings around Watkins Glen and even the western Finger Lakes. But again, the reason why we're coming to you live here is due to the fact that we have a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service here. And I'll zoom right back down into this area locally so you can see it more. It's that red polygon that you see right in through here. Also note, lots of lightning strikes. And there's just a bit of a twist here as well. Again, there's the velocity showing you the very strong winds in Enfield. These are straight line winds moving this way. The reason why the tornado warning was issued is there's a little bit of a push of the wind that way. So it's not a very strong couplet. It's a borderline situation, and just want to get a little more information on this. This is not an observed tornado, okay? It means it's a radar indication of stronger rotation. I would call this borderline radar indicated rotation. Still, better safe than sorry. Now you might be wondering, Pete, okay, there's a tornado warning. What do I do? We're going to bring up those safety tips for you. First of all, you might want to know what the difference is between a watch and a warning. And there's actually something called a tornado emergency. What we have for you is the middle. Radar is indicating a tornado. There has not been one cited by the public. However, if you're out and about in that area that I just showed you, you do not want to be storm chasing. You do not want to be outside trying to visualize this storm. What you do want to be doing is this. You want to be inside. Keep calm. Go to the basement if you have a basement available, because that's going to keep you the safest. If you don't have a basement available, go to the lowest level of any building you're in or a house or whatever, and stay away from walls and outside windows, because that could be blown in, especially a window. That's the easiest thing to go. I also will say, before you go to that safe space, make sure you're wearing footwear. I don't care what it is, sandals, slippers, shoes, sneakers. Why? God forbid you go inside, you stay safe, you're not hurt. You come outside and there's damage and glass all over the place and nails and wood. We don't want you to get hurt. After the storm, you did all this preparation to not get hurt, and then you go outside with no footwear. So make sure you've got that. Make sure you also have some sort of a radio or cell phone just in case you need to get into contact after the storm is passed. And you'll want to wait, of course, to make sure the storm is passed. And if you've got a possibility of having a pillow or something that might protect your head, you'll want to do that as well. So just to bring you back to where this storm is right now, again, we'll zoom out just a little bit to give you some bearings here, just to let you know where we are here in the viewing area. Syracuse is in the middle of your screen. We're talking about storms south of the Route 20 corridor. There are a number of storms right now. The one with a tornado warning, though, is the one around the Ithaca area. It would be the one that you see with all those heavy lightning strikes and that purple as well. This is this area right in through here. If, and it's a big if there's a tornado, it would be located right about in there and is moving south-southeast. I am hopeful, and I'm just going to look at some other information here, that this just barely, it looks to me, Boy, it's going to be close. I think it's probably going to be just near or southwest of the Ithaca area. You got to get inside right now. Ithaca is a popular spot, not only for lots of fun things downtown, but of course you've got the gorges around the area. This is about to bear down on the Ithaca area. This is likely going to be the worst just southwest of Ithaca. This literally is heading right for Truman State Park. If you've ever been to Truman State Park, it's a gorgeous state park, but it's also outdoors. Now, barely have a signal. If you have a friend or a family, come back to me live. If you've got friends or family that might, and you know, are in Truman State Park, they might have a cell signal. You're going to want to call them right now and tell them you got to get into some sort of safe place. I know there's not many safe places at a state park, but you want to get yourself away from as much as you can. You don't want to be hurt by a falling tree. I mean, I've been to Truman State Park. It's tough to do that, but try to find a safe shelter. There are a few spots where you might be able to get inside. Appreciate that, Paul, for coming back to me live. We can go back to the radar just to give you another update on this. Let me just take off all these circles here so you can see everything just a little bit better. Again, we have a tornado warning in effect for a radar-indicated tornado. It has not been observed, but what I can tell you is there's a ton of damaging wind. At the very least, okay, there's going to be a ton of damaging wind just to the southwest of the Ithaca area. So places like Applegate Corner, you're getting crushed right now. Next up is the Route 13 and 34 corridor between Ithaca and Newfield. You're going to be getting damage right now, and this is unfortunately also heading near or just to the southwest of Ithaca College. This is going to be a close call for Ithaca College, but for sure, Danby and that area, Newfield and Danby, are going to get the hit the hardest, and scraping right near the DeWitt Wegmans and the Ithaca area as well, the Ithaca College area probably. Now, I mentioned that the Ithaca area technically doesn't have a tornado warning, and technically the city of Ithaca is outside the worst of the damaging wind. However, you're likely still going to get a bunch of lightning. The worst wind action is right in here, right where I'm drawing these lines. So this area I'm circling, this is where, regardless if there's a tornado, there's likely to be damage. So from between Enfield, Danby, Newfield, and Whitechurch. Ithaca, you're going to get a ton of rain. You're going to get some lightning, and an outside chance, by the way, whenever you get a lot of rain like this, there could be some flash flooding. Ithaca is known because you've got all the hills going down into the valley. You'll also be wanting, even though there's no flash flood warning in effect, watch out for some immediate flash flooding there as well. So, also want to show you, again, just because we want to make sure you know what to do, I actually have a web story up for about our warnings here. A tornado warning, you'll want to stay calm, okay? The one thing you need to be doing is remaining calm, but with a purpose, okay? You don't want to be lackadaisical either. Get yourself to a safe space, preferably the lowest floor of your house. If you've got a basement, that's the best. Make sure you're wearing some sort of footwear, shoes, sandals, something. So in case you have damage and you've kept yourself safe inside, you don't want to be stepping on nails, etc. So that's what we've got for you right now. Just want to take a look to say if there's any update with this warning, and there has not been. It's still a radar-indicated warning for a tornado. Elsewhere for you, also want to make mention of other storms in the area because there are a number of severe thunderstorm warnings here. Might as well show you all of them just without the radar because there's a lot of information on here, okay? We're going to zoom out for you just to show you the entire area. Okay, there are all the warnings, severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for considerable wind damage, by the way, for Spafford, Scott, Sempronius. Next up, even though you're not in the warning, would be Tully and Preble. That's for damaging wind and hail. The tornado warning is that red one that's blinking right in through here. So we've been mentioning these cities for you. Again, technically the Ithaca area does not have a tornado warning, but it's going to be just southwest, basically moving right over the Route 13 and 96 corridor as you go south and out of Ithaca. So if you're traveling, you do not want to be doing that because you want to be inside. You don't want to be in a car, by the way, and you never want to go under an underpass. You might see videos of people trying to seek shelter in a vehicle under an underpass. You don't want to do that because the wind actually speeds up due to physics. Again, I don't want to go through all of that. So let's give you that radar update once again for you. Again, zooming out to give you perspective. Okay, Syracuse is at the top of your screen. Tully's in the middle. Ithaca, this is the one where we're closer to the tornado warning. Remember, just because you're not in the tornado warning doesn't mean you're not going to see some big storms. You've got a lot of lightning that's north of the tornado warning. And I should also mention, typically if there's large hail, it also might be going right over the downtown Ithaca area, including also Cornell University, Lansing, the Ithaca. I got to think the Tompkins County Airport in Lansing is probably, if there's any flights now, have stopped those because you don't obviously want any downbursts to affect landings or takeoffs. Again, the worst part of the storm is located just southwest of the Ithaca area. That would be, and I'm taking a look at some velocities here on my other screen here, and I can actually bring that up for you. Let me actually bring that up for you right now so I can show you the whole thing for you at the same time. So the velocities are right there. I'm going to just move this over here. The worst wind action is right in here, these light green colors. Again, I'm not really seeing any rotation. There's no deep dark reds pushing this way. That's good. I thought the Weather Service was a real borderline situation to actually call it a tornado, but it's better safe than sorry here. Regardless if it's, coming back to me live, if it's straight line wind pushing one way or tornadoes doing this, does it really matter? It's strong damage. We don't want you to be outside during that. So heading you back to this, so we're talking about Danby, we're talking about Whitechurch. Let me just get rid of some of these colors here, these arrows, so you can see it a little bit better. Let's see other places a little bit further south and east, because now we're heading towards places just around Caroline, Danby, and Whitechurch. So this is the Route 96B corridor. So if you travel from Ithaca to Owego, you don't want to be doing that. We've mentioned all these routes here. This is a very popular area where we're talking about places like moving south out of Ithaca, routes 13, 96, 96B, 34. Also, the Route 79 corridor, you've been lucky to not be in this particular tornado warning, but you as well are going to be getting heavy thunderstorms. I've put the reflectivity back up here for you so that you can see not only just wind, but also all the lightning and the rain as well. And you can see, just zooming it out more county-wise, what you're looking at now is all of Tompkins County. That's right in here, right? So the tornado warning is this part, this red part. There's still a ton of lightning and likely some hail on the northeastern end of this. The tornado warning is in effect until 2:15, so that's another 12 minutes. So that would be for places from roughly here, south and southeast, for those of you that haven't really got into it right in there. So I've been mentioning Danby and Caroline. That's the area right in here. We'll zoom in closer once again so we can get some street level mapping here for you. The worst part is literally heading right over Truman State Park in areas between Ithaca and Newfield. This is the worst part of the wind, okay? Remember the wind? There it is right there. And of course, you've got downpours and extreme rain. Not to be forgotten, lightning is a killer. Look at all this lightning on the back side of this, okay? I know we're talking about a tornado warning here, but lightning is a killer. This is literally moving over the entire metro Ithaca area, north, east, south, and west. You're not escaping a thunderstorm here in the Ithaca area. Everybody is getting downpours. Everybody's got lightning, and you don't want to be outside for that as well. Okay, let's zoom out to show you more places here. I want to give you a quick update since we're on the air. I know this is not a tornado warning, but this has been a very feisty, severe storm with hail, large hail, 2-inch diameter hail. That could do some damage to cars and vehicles. Also a chance of some damaging wind as well for the Spafford, Vesper, Tully area if it holds together. Those of you right along the Cortland-Onondaga line, maybe even to the Route 80 corridor near Fabius and just south of Pompey. Elsewhere, anything to the north, you might be wondering, nope, we're okay. Yeah, there might be a thunderstorm way up north, but nothing severe. All the severe weather yesterday we had mentioned around the Route 79-206 corridor, most of that has come to fruition right there. Here's Route 79 right there by Lisle and Ithaca. This is the Route 79 corridor right in through here, and that's exactly where this tornadic or wind storm is moving through. So let me give you a little bit of motion here for you, just to show you how things are moving. You can see this whole thing is, generally speaking, this whole storm is moving southeast like this. So the next up would be out of our viewing area, but maybe you have friends and family around the Elmira, Owego, Binghamton area. Maybe even Whitney Point and Lisle could hang into this. Probably the worst part of that storm is heading more towards Vestal and maybe SUNY Binghamton next. Anyway, obviously we're on the air constantly for a tornado warning because that's one of the worst types of things that you could ever have for you. Okay, again, we're now showing velocity for you. Typically, when you want to see something, when you're looking for tornadic signatures or rotation, you'd want to see this green with red here. I'm not seeing any red. That's good. Potentially, we don't have rotation that's producing a tornado. But likely straight line wind damage is flying through this area right now, and that's why you need to treat this as if it was a tornado, regardless if you've got spinning winds or a big push of wind. A reminder that the Labor Day storm wasn't a tornado, had 110 mile per hour winds. Okay? Did much damage and unfortunately fatalities. I'm worried about, and I hope if you know somebody at Truman State Park, this thing went right over Truman State Park. I really hope that maybe the wind was aloft and it didn't hit you, but hopefully if you've got friends or family, you gave them the alert before it hit there. And if you have some information for us, you can always send us information, news@cnycentral.com. You can call us at 315-477-9400 if you have any damage in your area. Going back to the radar now. Again, we're keeping an eye on this velocity area because that's the very strong winds. Right now, this looks like more of a straight line wind situation at this point. Still, though, with only about 8 minutes left on this tornado warning, I'm going to assume they're going to just keep that going. Oh, you know what they just did? They've, well, at least out ahead of it. You see this yellow area? They just became highlighted. They've taken this storm now to a severe thunderstorm warning further southeast. In other words, coming back to me live, they're now treating this, like I was just saying, more as a straight line wind severe thunderstorm warning, which probably was the whole part of this. But look, there could maybe have been a brief spin up. I will just obviously have to see if there's damage and if the National Weather Service does survey any of that damage, whether it was circular or straight line wind. Regardless, there's still some damaging wind out there. Let's go back to the radar so I can show you. Again, let's bring this back up so you can see the whole thing. And I'll zoom just a little bit out for you so you can see it a little bit better and give you perspective again. So remember I just mentioned the yellow. So this is the new severe thunderstorm warning down here. So they're now treating this as a severe thunderstorm warning, as I had a feeling they would because of the fact that there is no rotation, at least that I see anymore. And I think they agree with me because I'm just seeing the light green only. This red part down further southeast is part of the tornado warning right there. So the straight line wind damage went through Truman State Park, now heading towards White Church and South Danby. I doubt there's a tornado there anymore, but I don't care. There's a ton of wind damage heading your way, so just be inside anyway for that. And even though there's still strong winds in here, the worst part of the lightning is actually on the back side of this. I'll put the reflectivity. It's also a chance of some flash flooding because this is intense rainfall right now that's moving through the greater Ithaca area. Zooming out, again, this is a line of storms that's going to bring some much different weather. Today was a warm and humid day. Behind this, for the 4th of July, we're actually going to be seeing a much calmer and much more quiet and more comfortable situation developing. Now, I'm pretty much willing to say, you know what, they've actually discontinued the tornado warning. That is now not in effect anymore, according to our radar. So with that in mind, we're going to send you back to regular programming. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. We have a tornado warning in effect right now for Tompkins County. This is for a tornadic warned severe thunderstorm showing signs of rotation. It's moving through parts of western and southern Tompkins County. Right here you can see starting to move just to the south of Ithaca proper, the city of Ithaca. But this is areas in and around Enfield, Newfield, also town of Caroline, the town of Danby. So if you are in Newfield, Danby, this is the time now to get to your safe place, your designated shelter within your home or your workplace, that being the lowest level of your home, preferably a basement or a low central location away from windows. We're also under a severe thunderstorm watch. This is going all day until 10 o'clock tonight. This is the entire viewing area, not just one particular county, but every portion of the viewing area. Here's a look at the radar. We do have, again, this is the cell right here. This is the warning, and based on the way it's angled, it's heading down to the southeast. So this storm is traveling to the southeast. So again, it's right over top of Enfield. Enfield, you got to be down where your safe place is, a designated spot where you know you're going to be safe. And again, that's preferably a basement, lowest level of the home, away from windows, away from exterior walls. Lots of severe weather has been moving through. Plenty of these cells have been warned at times. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings throughout Schuyler, Tompkins counties. One was in Steuben County earlier That has since expired, but you can see here, look at the velocity image, these bright greens clashing with these bright reds. That's the indicative of rotation that you would see in a tornadic thunderstorm. And it has stuck with that cell for quite a bit. It traveled through parts of Cayuga, eventually through Schuyler County, not too far away from the town of Hector, and then now it's starting to move through here into around Newfield. So this is very close to the crossing with routes 34, 96, and 13. Right around that crossing, you can see Trumbull Corners is right here, Newfield, very close, Stratton, Danby. Again, if you are in any of these towns I just mentioned, you've got to get down to your safe location. Basement, lowest level of the home, away from exterior walls, away from windows. You don't want to be near any kind of walls that could be subject to flying debris that's lifted from this storm. We're seeing potentially up to 70 miles per hour with some of these storms. Very dangerous stuff. You do not want to be dealing with this, and that's why we have that tornado warning in effect, just to get ahead of this here. But as you can see, a couple of just severe cells all throughout the region, mainly up to the north from Dansville down to the Ithaca area, stretching as far south as right around Montour Falls. So right now we are still looking at a couple of areas where this severe weather has continued to impact the region. But you can see it's not just here. You got a couple of cells here closer to the state line. So something we want to go over here real quick. Again, right now we are in a tornado warning for Tompkins County, the areas Enfield, Newfield, Danby. That's what we're looking at for these cells moving through. Now, again, a watch is the time. That's the time to get prepared. But we are under a warning. That's where you need to take action. You need to be getting to your designated safe location. This means that we're looking at an active tornado situation on radar. Now, this is the time, of course, gather, any family members, friends, pets. You want to get them down to that low level. Now, a couple of areas, of course, you do not want to be in around those exterior walls, but if you can get multiple walls between you and the outside, that is going to be the best case of action. If you don't have a basement or basement is the best place, but that's where you want to be. But if you don't have that, again, away from the outside walls, get as many walls in between you and the outside as you can. If you can, a mattress can serve as protection from flying debris. Blankets can also help from some smaller debris, but again, you don't want to be around windows when you're dealing with this. This is a dangerous situation. Heed the warnings. Make sure that you are away from those exterior walls. Let's take another look here at the warnings. Once again, 2:15 is when this warning is in effect until Tompkins County, the areas just to the south of Ithaca, Newfield, Enfield, Danby. We're going to turn it over here to Chief Meteorologist Joe Veras. He's going to continue the coverage here on this tornado. Joe, what can you tell us?
All right, thank you very much. Kind of appreciate that update for you. And again, National Weather Service continues for this tornado warning for about another 15 minutes or so. Here we are about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. National Weather Service initially issued this tornado warning at 1:45, and it's set to expire at 2:15. The National Weather Service basically detecting rotation on radar. They're reissuing that right now. So let me step off screen and just take a look at the latest statement coming in from the National Weather Service, and I'll bring you the very latest information here for you. So what they're saying now out of the National Weather Service out of Binghamton is that this tornado warning still in effect until 2:15. They're saying that there is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Ithaca, moving to the south and east at about 35 miles an hour. In addition to the tornado threat, $half size hail is possible. They're saying the storm will be near Danby at 2:05, so 5 minutes if you're listening from the Danby area. Definitely get to your safe place, South Danby, around 2:15. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning, meaning that there's not necessarily a confirmed tornado, but there's enough evidence of rotation on Doppler radar, and that has prompted the Weather Service to continue this tornado warning in effect till 2:15. So again, in addition to the tornado warning, we still have several severe thunderstorm warnings. It's not just this one cell that we're tracking for you. We're looking at the severe weather in and around the Watkins Glen area, and also back towards southern areas of Seneca County, and then a cluster of storms back towards Dansville as well. All these storms moving off towards the south and east. So we're not going to be out of the woods for the next hour or so, but things will begin to improve as we progress through the afternoon. So there's that tornado warned storm, not far from Ithaca, but technically it's just to the south of the city proper there, over towards Newfield and the Caroline area. And elsewhere across the viewing area, it's important to mention that we're under a severe thunderstorm watch in effect till 10 o'clock tonight. These storms moving from west to east, so more than likely the watch will be dropped well before 10 o'clock from west to east. Again, this watch continues all the way off to the east over towards the Capital District of Albany. It'll take some time for the storms to clear that region, but for us, give it another hour or so and we should be out of the woods. So there's the tornado warning. We'll put the maps in motion for you. We're not only watching that cell, but look at the cell not far from Watkins Glen. Okay, we're going to keep a close eye on that. Of course, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. Damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour will be possible. So you want to take this storm very seriously as well, even though there's not a tornado warning in effect for Schuyler County. Damaging wind gusts certainly not out of the question, but the rotation associated with the cell just to the south of Ithaca. Elsewhere across the region, we're tracking a cell not far from Addison, just to the south of Addison. It's about to push over Interstate 99. Not warned on just yet, but again, the atmospheric conditions favorable for thunderstorm development. So we'll be keeping an eye on this cell for you as well. But notice the back edge of the severe weather now through Dansville. So again, we just need to give it another hour or so, and it should clear the rest of our viewing area. Whenever you see bright green on the velocity mode of radar, basically that's measuring wind gusts that are heading towards the radar site. The brighter the green, the more intense some of these winds are. So again, even if there's not a tornado occurring within that cell, certainly damaging wind gusts look very likely in and around the Danby area. Danby, you need to be in your safe area, meaning away from windows, lowest floor of your home, because again, we could be looking at some damaging wind gusts. National Weather Service reporting perhaps as high as 70 miles an hour. So no doubt that can down some trees, power lines, and again, whatever debris is aloft, it could break through a window. So that's the last place you want to be, next to a window. And this storm continues to work its way off towards the south and east. You can see it's already to the south of Ithaca. So technically Ithaca not under the tornado warning. We're looking in the Danby area, and we'll see whether or not the National Weather Service extends it farther to the south and east. So Candor, if you're watching out of Tioga County, be prepared to get to your safe area. We'll see if the National Weather Service extends this warning farther off towards the south. I mentioned the Watkins Glen area. On the velocity, I'm not seeing a lot of rotation, but the bright greens indicative of some straight line wind damage. So power outages certainly a possibility, down trees as this intense cell passes by just to the south and east of Watkins Glen. You can still see that that is warned on by the National Weather Service. Tornado warning until 2:15, so we have roughly another about 10 minutes to go. Watching cells developing here over south central Steuben County, just to the west of Interstate 99. Elsewhere, we're seeing a few cells developing near the Wellsville area of southern Allegheny County. But again, north and west of Dansville, things quieting down considerably. And again, that's eventually going to be pushing through our neck of the woods. You can see not too much going on across western areas of the state. The severe threat will be shifting eastbound as we head through the next hour or so. But it's important to remember the severe weather terminology, specifically tornado terminology. Warning, okay, that's in effect right now. That means a tornado has been spotted or indicated by radar. And in this instance, it's been indicated by radar by the National Weather Service. And of course, like we've been mentioning, the safest place to be during a tornado warning or even a severe thunderstorm warning for that matter, especially when we're talking about winds possibly as strong as 70 miles an hour, you need to get to your interior room of your home, likely a hall, a closet, a bathroom, a stairwell, away from windows. Best place to be, though, would be a basement. Whenever you can get underground, that's the safest place to be. I'm going to step off the screen for you just a second here, and we're going to reload our radar imagery. And again, we're continuing to follow a 1 tornado warning affecting Tompkins County right now. We're holding tight until 2:15 to see whether or not this will be extended farther off towards the south and east. But as of right now, we're not seeing any additional warnings from the National Weather Service. But we're watching Tioga County, New York very closely because all this activity is pushing off in your direction. But the tornado warning in effect till 2:15 for Tompkins County. Again, this is mainly just to the south of the Ithaca area right now. Most concern with Danby and just to the east of Newfield. The worst of the weather already clearing that region. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect area-wide until 10 o'clock tonight, meaning conditions are favorable for severe weather to develop. There's the warned-on storm for the tornado warning till 2:15, but we still have, again, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for a large portion here of, we got Schuyler County here, we have areas of Seneca County, and also dipping down into northeastern Chemung County, or very close to that. Again, as of right now, technically Chemung County, or they're just issuing a new warning right now. So let me step off the screen for you. Now this warning, this is what we're watching for you to the south and east of where the tornado warning is in effect. So National Weather Service is now issuing severe thunderstorm warning for Broome, Chemung, Tioga, and Tompkins County. Okay, so this is for the cell that's coming out of Tompkins County. So they have not continued the tornado warning. Let me read the statement for you coming out of the National Weather Service. This is for southeastern Schuyler County, northwestern Broome County, northeastern Chemung County, central Tioga County in New York, and southern Tompkins County. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 2:45. At 2:06, just a minute ago, severe thunderstorms were located along the line extending from near Freeville to Newfield to Odessa, moving to the south and east, at 45 miles an hour, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and ping-pong-sized hail possible with that cell that's coming just to the south of Danby. Again, this is moving off towards the southeast at about 45 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do, zoom back out a little bit, and let's put a storm track on it for you. I'll stop this for you, and that's moving off at 45 miles an hour. So let me get that correct, 45, and let's take a look exactly where that cell is headed. Again, to the south and east. Okay, looks like it's eventually heading over towards the Owego area. So we're talking, let me pull this off to the side here. So we're talking North Spencer at 2:11, so Spencer area. Looking at that intense cell heading your way. Candor at 2:20, Newark Valley 2:26, over towards the Owego area at 2:36. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, there's still the possibility of some rotation with the cell dropping just south of Ithaca, moving south and east at about 45 miles an hour. But whenever the National Weather Service is talking about the potential for damaging wind gusts to 70 miles an hour, that could actually even be stronger than, say, a weak tornado. Could be a straight line wind type of issue. That could down trees, that could down power lines and cause extensive damage. So 70 miles an hour, definitely nothing to, to take lightly by any means. And you want to get to your safe area if you're in one of these locations right now. It looks like this cell will be passing by to the north of the Elmira area. Elsewhere across the region, let me zoom in now over southern sections of Steuben County because that cell is showing signs of development as well. We've been monitoring that now for a little while. Let me zoom in here and let's see if I can take a closer inspection. And that cell right there, about to cross over the interstate just south of Addison. There could be some damaging wind gusts there over towards the Lindley area and just to the north perhaps of Lawrenceville or clipping Lawrenceville in Tioga County. No warning with that, but again, that cell definitely looks pretty ominous on radar. Still continue with that tornado warning and for another 5 minutes, so we'll stay on the air for you until the tornado warning officially is dropped by the National Weather Service. But for areas to the west, you can see that the back edge of some of these storms now pushing into north central areas of Steuben County. No warnings here, but again, we're looking at the Cohocton area. We're looking over towards Prattsburg. Some very intense thunderstorms and some very gusty winds associated with those cells. So we'll continue to monitor that for you. But let's go back to our velocity on radar. And you can see a lot of greens indicative of very gusty winds heading towards the radar site, heading towards Binghamton. That's where the radar site is located. Brighter the greens, the more intense the winds are. However, we're not seeing a lot of red that's right next to the intense green, which would be more indicative of rotation. So that's perhaps why the National Weather Service is saying, okay, we're not going to continue with the tornado warning into Tioga County. Instead, we're issuing a severe thunderstorm warning, but still with gusts upwards of about 70 miles an hour possible. This is a lot of strong winds associated with that thunderstorm, no doubt. So we'll continue to monitor that for you. But again, the good news is we're not necessarily seeing the rotation that we were seeing about 20 minutes or so ago. And so the National Weather Service more than likely in, 3 minutes from now, likely to drop that tornado warning for Tompkins County. Quick look at the radar tour before we're going to send it back to programming here for you. But I just want you to be aware that we're still tracking these thunderstorms coming south and east out of the Dansville area. We're looking at this one cell. I'm kind of surprised there's not a warning with it. Looking very impressive. Right along the Steuben, Tioga, Pennsylvania line, Lindley, over towards the Lawrenceville area. Some very gusty winds, torrential downpours associated with that cell. So we'll keep an eye on that, but more than likely a warning will be coming out from the National Weather Service with this cell here. Let me take a closer inspection before we send it back. Again, we have about a couple more minutes before that tornado warning is set to expire, but at least the rotation is not there anymore. Let's take a close look at this cell here. Right along the state line. Let me zoom in a little closer, and you can see some very intense downpours approaching Lindley, approaching the interstate, just to the north and west of Lawrenceville right now. And let me go in the last 30 minutes, put that in motion for you, and you can see how it's quickly heading off towards the east. So again, keeping a close eye on that for you. Take a look elsewhere across our region quickly. Again, we're seeing the most intense cell over southeastern Tompkins County near the Caroline area, and that's headed towards Candor and Berkshire and Newark Valley. So go to your safe area, and if you're in those regions, that cell perhaps has some gusts upwards of about 70 miles an hour associated with it. The entire viewing area remains under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight, but like I was mentioning earlier, more than likely that will be dropped before 10 o'clock for our region. The back edge of the severe weather is now through Allegheny County for the most part and up towards Wyoming County and Livingston County. And again, it's pushing across the Finger Lakes region and now just to the south of Corning. But give it another hour or so, and it looks like our severe threat will be coming to an end. Good news is much better weather moves in for tonight. If you're heading out to any of the firework displays tonight, should be good to go. All the severe weather will be out of the region. And more importantly, for the 4th of July forecast for tomorrow, looking very nice across our area. Plenty of sunshine, lower humidity by then, temperatures in the 70s to near 80. So it looks like a nice holiday for our region. But again, as of right now, it looks like the tornado warning, has just been dropped. And that's been replaced by that severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45. This includes northeastern Chemung County, also Tioga County. Be prepared towards the Newark Valley area of damaging wind gusts, perhaps as high as 70 miles an hour. We'll keep you posted here at WENY as we progress through the rest of the afternoon. Let you know if any more warnings are issued by the National Weather Service. As of right now, though, no more tornado warnings currently in effect. The severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10. We'll keep you posted here on WENY, but for now we'll send it back to regularly scheduled programming.